She won most talkative in high school, and she has been running her mouth ever since. Welcome to the Lisa Fisher Said podcast with your host, Lisa Fisher.
Okay, how many podcast interviews have you done in somebody's home overlooking the Arkansas River? That would be none.
I'm going to think about this. Zero.
Okay.
Zero. This is number one.
Right.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad you're here. You are America's sweetheart as far as weather comes and goes, because this is in your DNA. It's in your blood. And I've read the stories, and we're going to go over that from the beginning. Okay. Like young, you were interested in the science of meteorology, not the on-air shenanigans, but the science.
No, I was interested in that too.
Okay, well, good, because you've done well with it. But you actually like the science, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, when I have to trace my love for weather back to when I was 6 years old. I don't know what sparked it, but it was a thunderstorm. This is where it started, though. A thunderstorm and lightning hit a tree outside my bedroom. The fire department had to come out. The baseboards were smoldering in the house.
Wow.
TV station came out, and this is out here in West Little Rock.
Yeah.
And ever since then, that's what my mom and my dad told me. That's where it all started.
Is that right?
That's why I say that's probably where it sparked my interest.
I got that. That was good. So that was 6 years old.
6 years old.
You were interested because boys like fire trucks. They like smoldering baseboards.
Smoldering,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, those kinds of things. But when did you then start thinking that this could be a career? Like you went to Catholic high school.
I did.
So
it never stopped. The week prior to that lightning strike, I told my parents I wanted to be a shoe salesman. so I was
ambitious.
I thought I'm Ted Bundy before Ted Bundy was Ted Bundy.
Okay. Well, don't use that as an analogy.
Al.
Okay,
not
thank you.
Al Bundy. I'm thinking of the wrong Bundy. I'm thinking of the wrong Bundy.
Right.
Oh boy, that's completely different.
That's okay.
All right. So anyway, the one from the Married with Children.
Yes. Right.
Okay. So
who ended up being a Modern Family, which was
that's true, Modern Family. Yeah. So I never stopped wanting to be a meteorologist. I was fascinated with storms. I was scared to death of storms. Scared to death of them. When there were thunderstorms and tornadoes, I would hide in the corner of my kitchen.
Now, stop.
I did. I hid in the corner of my kitchen when Ned was on TV telling us about tornadoes.
Like, did you wear a helmet? Like, what were you doing to protect? Did you? Why the corner of the kitchen? You people tell us in the safest room in the house, which is an interior bathroom.
I was six.
Well, all right, I'll give you that.
But yeah, I was scared to death. I wanted to learn more about them. And then all weather, winter weather, snow, because I got to get out of school. Yeah. I would go out at 6 o'clock in the morning and not go back until sunset and play in the snow. Oh. But storms fascinated me, and I stuck with it. And my parents saw something there, and they fed my ambitions, and they encouraged me every step of the way. And when I was 10 years old, they took me on a surprise trip to the National Weather Service office in North Little Rock to get a tour. That was my birthday present for my 10th birthday.
This is the prodigy that Tiger Woods had with his father. And look, you are the Tiger Woods of weather then.
Right, whatever.
He was 3 maybe when we see him hitting the golf ball, but you were actually 10 and you went to the weather station, whatever it is.
The National Weather Service.
Okay. Now let's just talk just a minute. I mean, nothing personal. Those are some nerdy people.
They're nerdy, but we're all nerdy, and they're very good people over there.
I know.
And here's what's crazy is I met some of the meteorologists there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was when I was 10 years old, and I still know some of them to
They're
this
still
day,
there.
and work with them in a professional capacity now. So that was when I was 10 years old.
Okay, so back when the earth cooled and I was in TV, the weather people actually, we ripped it out because I was a news anchor at a radio station. We ripped and read, right? Mm-hmm. And then the science of meteorology started becoming a thing, and you had to have a certification.
Right.
Melinda May, I remember before she had her certification, then she got it, or so-and-so, right? You can use anybody. But you didn't even have to do that certification because you actually went to weather school, right, at OU?
I went partially at Oklahoma and partially at Mississippi State.
Oh, so everyone has to finish at Mississippi State then?
Well, you don't have to. It's just better in TV for television weather to do Mississippi. So I did kind of a hybrid between the University of Oklahoma and Mississippi State. But I claim University of Oklahoma.
I know you do. How'd your seniors do this year in football?
So what's the next question?
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So you went to OU then with the end in mind that you would finish up at Mississippi State.
No, I didn't realize. I thought I would do everything at OU. I didn't realize when I got there how difficult it wasn't geared towards television at Oklahoma. And I didn't quite understand that until I got involved. And I'm doing all these calculus equations. And I'm like, where's the TV camera?
Yeah.
I'm not learning what I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great program, but it's not geared towards television.
Got it.
So I did some of the meteorology at Oklahoma. Didn't want to leave because of all my friends, and I loved OU.
Right, and it's fun, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And so I started doing, it wasn't online at the time. This is before the internet got going.
Right.
That's how old I am. And I was doing, getting videotaped lectures from Mississippi State and taking classes that way and taking tests at the National Weather Service office.
Really?
I was going to take tests there. So I did kind of a hybrid thing.
So what's the highest math course then that you have? Because don't you have to do calculus and probably...
I went through calculus, hated every single bit of it. I did calculus and I thought, this is not teaching me to do weather on TV.
Then what taught you to do weather on TV?
Internships is what I ended up doing.
Really?
Yeah, I did internships at actually a station here in Little Rock that I will go nameless. No, I'm just kidding. Channel 11 is where I did an internship there. And also at Fox 25 at Oklahoma City. So that's where I got my experience.
Graduated then or finished in 4 years then, or did it take a little longer
4.5 years.
because you had to do more at Mississippi State?
Yeah.
And then, so you graduated then with that seal,
No, I had to go out and earn those seals. There's a process of having to be in the business. You have to pass more tests. So I went out and got the National Weather Association seal of approval and the American Meteorological Society seal of approval. So I have both of them.
So who, when you were growing up, was because they weren't true meteorologists for a long time until the Weather Channel came along. But maybe in your youth, Willard Scott was talking about,
Smuckers.
Yeah, Smuckers. And then he said, it's raining in North Dakota. I mean, but someone just told him to say that. He knew nothing, right, about the weather?
Well, I'm sure he knew some, but no, he wasn't the meteor, he was a personality.
Yeah, personality.
And meteorologists, when the Weather Channel came on, it was on cable. Do you remember Store Cable?
Yes, of course. 375-5755 was the number.
You remember that?
I can't find my keys, but I can tell you Store Cable's number from the 80s. There's something wrong.
But I watched the Weather Channel in 1980 when it came out.
Yeah.
And my parents got so frustrated that I was watching the Weather Channel all the time that they kicked me out of the living room, got cable in my room in a little black and white TV, and that's where I watched the Weather Channel. That's why they got cable.
Do they know that kids in that age group were doing other things that were probably illegal and that this is really a blip on the radar, pardon the pun?
Yes, I know. It was a little strange. But
that was your rebellion.
Yes.
I'll show you. I'm going to watch Store Cable in my room.
In a black and white TV.
Right. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How many children in your family?
And I have my big brother is Scott.
Okay.
And they all live in Little Rock. And my big sister is Dawn. I'm the baby of the family.
Oh, okay. So do they have any science interest? Were they like, Todd, give it up. Go sell shoes.
No, my brother is a scientist.
Oh, okay.
He's a physicist. So yeah, he's got all the brains in the family.
That's kind of is the big one.
Yeah, and my sister, she works at a retirement home here. She runs a retirement home. She's got the big heart for the elderly that she loves to take care of. It is. So, they never gave me a hard time about that. They never did.
What's the age difference with all the kids?
Oh, gosh, you're going to make me do math, aren't you? And you have to when you're in weather.
I know. That's why I didn't go
My brother
into it.
is 7 years older than I am, and my sister is 4 years older.
Okay. So there was a different age difference between you and your brother that he didn't see you doing this terrible thing of watching store cable in your room in the black and white TV. So then he was probably out of college when you were starting to say, I think I want to be a TV meteorologist. Like, that's what I'm wondering, because your mom and dad were pushing you in the direction, but sometimes a sibling will give you pushback and go, dude, do something else.
They never did.
And that's sweet.
They never did. I will tell you, got in trouble at Catholic High for my love of weather. The famous Father Tribu caught me listening to a NOAA weather radio in English class.
Again, this is your height of rebellion. That's it. I could spend some time with you people and really show you.
There was a snowstorm on the way.
Yeah.
All right. And I had my NOAA weather radio in my backpack, and I knew when the forecast would get updated. So I was in English class, and I had the backpack on my desk, and I had it on, and I'm laying there like that, listening to it. And Tribu walks by, sees it, and I get in trouble.
Did you have to go stand? Now, he will put you in a corner or make you stand out in the hallway or something.
Yes, he will, but I was never a big troublemaker.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like, I think he was saying nerd.
Right. In a good way.
In a good way.
Okay, so are you offended by that term, or do you know it's a term of endearment?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Call me a weather geek, call me a weather nerd, whatever it is, I like it.
Okay, so what is it then about the weather? Because we know you had the side that you wanted to be more of a performer, but what is it then about the weather that you really love? Is it, again, so this clear weather,
This
boring
is
to you?
boring.
Oh, and it's what we're all saying is perfection.
I know. And it is. It's nice. I'll give you that. It's
Yeah.
nice. But I love the challenge of forecasting winter weather. Severe weather forecasting in Arkansas is not that hard because we get it so often. It's not that difficult. The winter weather part of it is a challenge. I love that challenge.
Because do you even rely on, you talk about the European models or some other things, do you rely on that, or do you really do the math and get your pen out and do your own?
Do not do the math because it's gazillions of equations. We rely on, gosh, there's so much.
Wow.
Analogs, we look at what's happened in the past, our experience, and then we use the computer models to back that up. And sometimes the computer models are saying things like, what is wrong? What is going on here? And sometimes they're right. And we're like, learn something new every day. So yeah, I use a little bit of everything.
So we're recording this in March, the first few days of March in Arkansas. We had 2 little episodes in February. The first one we were pretty much warned about. The second one I felt like bit us in the butt, but you had warned people about a week before. And so this was like 2 weeks ago from now, maybe. You said, next week's, you said, winter weather's not finished. You tweeted.
I still don't think it's, you look out there right now and it's almost 80 degrees. I don't think we're done yet. I think there's going to be more. So when is this? Yeah. So remember this on the podcast.
Yeah, it'll be next Tuesday. So that's.
We're not done.
Is that March 8th? Okay.
Let's get past the 15th and then I'll say we're done.
Okay. I know everybody's moaning. Now, I do know this. Don't plant anything.
No.
Just because we have sunlight, don't be teased by it. But you had warned surreptitiously, kind of said, I don't think we're finished. And you were like, the European model state, da-da-da-da-da. And sure enough, so when it happened that morning, my daughter was dropping off her kids. I was babysitting for her. She goes, I just got this alert on my phone. There's winter weather. And I went, there's no winter weather. I said, it's cloudy. And then it's like the heavens opened up and we had the sleet came down.
I will say it came in faster than we thought it would.
Okay, so you knew then the night before that was coming. I guess I just didn't check Twitter.
Well, it came in a lot. Well, even that morning we were a little surprised when we woke up how fast it was coming in.
Okay.
We knew it was coming in, but it was probably about 6 hours ahead of schedule. So yeah, that caught us a little off guard.
Because I think her alert was really from the National Weather Service. She didn't have a TV station, so they had it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. She was dropping off kids, and I went, it's not going to, what, this is the silliest thing I've ever heard. And then I had something here last week. People are messaging me going, Mount St. Mary's is closing. And so and I go, why? And then boom, it hit.
That morning, my wife she dropped the kids off at school and then she went to Kroger. And I was looking at everything. I thought, there's going to be a mass panic of everybody going to get their kids, hitting the roads.
Yes.
So I called my wife and I said, go get the kids after you're done with Kroger.
Really?
Go get them out of school. Because I wanted to avoid any problems.
Yeah, right.
Any potential problem.
Yeah.
I said, go get the kids. 20 minutes passes. She calls me back. She goes, are you sure?
Are you sure?
And I went, what?
I'm sorry she insulted you that way. We need a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Andrea, it was Todd Yakoubian you were talking to. So she just want to make sure.
So even my wife second guesses me, which is fine.
Are you sure?
You should sometimes. And she goes, are you sure? I said, yes, please tell me you're on your way. And then, the sleet came down. It was mass gridlock and all that.
It was because we can see the 430 exit going to Maumelle. I guess every school by the time it was probably 1 or 2. Every state office had probably closed. Everybody was going back to Conway, Maumelle, Mayflower. Every school had closed and it was gridlock. And then people downtown were saying, this is insane.
That's what I wanted to avoid.
Right. And you did. You probably did. Because Little Rock schools closed that day early, right?
I think everybody let out.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's what I was getting the text saying, Mount St. Mary's closed. I was like, for why? Because it's a Wednesday? I mean, I had no idea. And that's why my husband said, I thought Todd Yakoubian told us all this. I go, he didn't message me personally. And I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to have him on my podcast. So we're contractually obligated now to always know.
So you're going to let me have it now.
Okay, so tell me the difference. I know you people hate either sleet or you hate freezing rain. Which is the one?
Freezing rain. We absolutely hate freezing rain.
Okay, now tell me the scientific difference.
I'm going to refer to my friend Ryan Vaughn, who does weather in Jonesboro. You know Ryan?
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant
Long
meteorologist.
time. Yeah,
he's fantastic. Freezing rain is like a glazed donut.
Okay? Oh, those are delicious.
Yes, they are. But it's not fun to drive on. Think of the glaze. It just kind of coats everything with ice and weight. It puts weight on it. And it keeps weighing down. Things start breaking, trees and power lines.
Yes.
Sleet's like sprinkled donuts. The sprinkles just kind of bounce off.
Good.
And it just bounces off the ground or onto the ground, and it's just a travel issue. The freezing rain is not only a power or a travel issue, it's a power issue too.
So
that's what you don't want.
Very dangerous.
It's a glaze.
Where does the freezing rain originate? Is it freezing from the clouds, or does it freeze as it's coming down?
It's actually snow.
Oh.
Then it melts into rain, and then it gets here to the surface, and it's colder than 32, and that rain freezes on contact with everything it touches. Now,
so it's not pelting sound like sleet does.
Sleet is the same process, except the ground, the cold air, the sub-freezing air at the surface is a little deeper, so it has the time to form into an ice pellet, into sleet. So it's like the raindrop freezes on its way down.
Okay, we want sleet.
You want sleet instead of freezing.
Okay,
rain, if you have to choose.
This is for Arkansas listeners and viewers. Going back, let's talk about the catastrophic ice and snowstorms. 1994 is one I think of.
Yes, that's right. I dislocated my shoulder.
What? Because you were doing something stupid out?
I was getting groceries from my mom.
Oh, all right. Make me feel bad. Sheesh. Helping little ladies across the street put his shoulder out.
At Colony West Shopping Center.
Is that right?
I was here. I had taken a semester off from OU, and I was here.
Because that was like in February, right?
It was in February. Yeah. And Southeast Arkansas had the horrible ice freezing rain.
Okay, my parents had a story that if they had no electricity, that also means no water, no flushing. So they had a no pooping rule at our house. And people would come over, they go, if you're coming to poop, you're going to have to go outside. Here's a paper sack. Because they had no electricity. Maybe
for how many weeks?
I think 5 weeks.
Jeez. Where's South
Dermot, a little town in Chico County. Yeah, of course, you know the zip code. You know the atmospheric pressure of Vermont. I understand. Okay, so you were going to get groceries.
I went to go get groceries, and at that time there was I went and parked at the bottom level, and there were stairs that took you up to the Kroger. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago. Yeah.
That's when they had the stairs that went up to Kroger.
Yes.
So I go up there and I come back and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Because everything's solid ice. And so I'm going to hold on to the rail to get down in my car and then take one step at a time. When my feet fly out from under me, the groceries go everywhere. And my arm is around the rail and it pulls and I dislocated my shoulder. And then I tumble down the stairs. And I'm not kidding you. A 70-year-old man walks by picking up my grocery, goes, "Are you okay?" So I'm like, here I am.
What were you, 20?
I'm 20 years old. A 70-year-old man is helping me up in the ice.
Jack LaLanne there.
Exactly.
With the safety.
And he's just getting by just fine. He's like, why'd you not do those stairs?
Oh, my gosh. So. I'm so sorry. Did Norman get ice and freezing rain? They get snow.
They get more snow than ice. I think more so out there. I was only out there for 4 years though. But that semester I'd taken off and I was here for all that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Again, and that was, now we do have things that maybe we wouldn't be in quite the predicament we are with utilities, but maybe so. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we have our phones now. We could at least get Wi-Fi, from our home because we go to our car and charge our phone. And I'm saying that in all seriousness, that there are emergencies that happen, and without electricity, it shuts down a lot of things. So,
and I think, and now we have backup generators and things like that for homes. We have portable generators. There are more of those around nowadays. But it's still trouble.
So would you say that was one of the most catastrophic that you can remember? Because in 2000 we had
2000 was catastrophic. There was that back to back in 2000.
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten that.
Yes, back to back in 2000. That's catastrophic. And I was only here for the second one because it was Christmas.
Yes.
And I came into town for that because I was living in Chattanooga at the time. And there was January 2009, but that was catastrophic for northern Arkansas.
Okay, I don't remember that. I remember their schools were closed for a long time. I think they had to work with the Department of Education on not doing, because they said if we start doing, this is before AMI instruction where you got to do work at home. But they said if we have to make up every day, and this was like Harrison and Fayetteville, they said we'll be here till August and then we have to start school again.
Those are the things I tease my kids about.
What?
Going to school all summer.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then the blizzard snowstorm of Christmas 2012. Did you lose electricity for that?
No, so we lived in Chenal, and that neighborhood was all underground utilities, and we were only affected if a transformer or power main.
Lucky you.
So we did one time have 12 hours, and you do. It's a terrible feeling because I think of infants and I think of the elderly who are so vulnerable. Like,
Sure.
I'm fine. I have enough blubber to last me through a couple of Christmases. But you think of those who are vulnerable. And I remember one year my husband did help somebody, like the grandmother needed oxygen, because you think about it, your grandmother was COPD. She's got to plug it into something. So I don't know who had a charger, but you have to start thinking of those. There are a lot of vulnerable people, I guess, is what I think about in those situations.
We were without one for 4 days.
That's a lot, though.
It is. And I had a 1-year-old kid at the time.
Oh, you did.
And so that was tough, but we were able to get a fire going in the fireplace. We had a portable generator with a space heater, but it's not fun. It's just not fun to do that.
Because those kids don't want to bathe even on a warm bath night, much less.
No, they don't want to do it on days like this.
Right, when it's ice cold and everybody stinks.
That's right.
Now, you did something crazy several years ago.
Oh, Lord. Which time?
It was the snow machine.
Yes! Snow at home.
And when was that? Was that?
Okay, that was in 2017, I think is when I started that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've heard about this. You can make your own or you can buy it, and you have to have all this special equipment, the right air compressor, the right pressure washer. So I started doing a lot of research on it, started talking to a guy that manufactured these in Connecticut, Matt Pittman, who's, by the way, had his snow machine sold on The Price is Right. Okay, it was in the Showcase Showdown.
Stop.
They use him in the movies to make snow. Yeah.
Really?
This guy's big time.
So he's really a science nerd.
Oh, yeah.
Because he really understands.
He understands the snow, how to make snow.
Right.
So I said, Matt, help me out. And so he sent me a snow machine and told me how to do it. And I cranked it up one morning and I had problem after problem after problem because I was new to it and everything.
Yeah.
I finally got it off and going.
Yeah.
And had it on daybreak.
I remember.
And filled my backyard up with snow.
Remember.
And we were on daybreak. People were calling the station, freaking out, thinking that we had a snow in Little Rock.
And what time of year did you do that?
It was in December.
It was, okay.
It was in early December.
Because we watched it. I was on the radio and we had a TV in there. And we watched it. We broadcast from what you were broadcasting because you had a big reveal. You said something big and I couldn't remember if Denzel was coming. Are we a celebrity coming? No, it was a snow machine.
Snow machine. And that morning was it was fun and made a lasting impact on everybody. I remember my producer yelling in my ear, "Make sure you tell people this is just in your backyard," because they were
a disclaimer needed.
Yeah, it's like, okay, folks, it's just snowing here in my backyard. I kept trying to explain it, but now I upgraded. I talked to Matt, and I've upgraded to a bigger machine.
No way.
That makes 10 times the amount of snow.
Who are you inviting over? Why are you doing this?
My kids have snow parties. My son's birthday is on January 1st. So
you are so highfalutin. We're mid-fluters here, so we don't have a snow machine.
If it's cold enough, I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, turn the machine on, make snow, and then the kids wake up in the morning and we have a snowball.
It's like a snow globe.
It is. And my Christmas of 2020, it was 2020, so a little bit more than a year ago. It was cold enough Christmas morning, so I woke up that night early and turned the snow machine on. So we had a white Christmas in my backyard.
I mean, you can't hide your wealth. This is just
it's not that expensive. It's not that expensive.
Okay, what are they now? You probably have a brother-in-law deal, but what would they retail for?
It depends. Do you want to make your own or do you want to buy it?
I want to make my own. I'm going big.
If you want to buy it or make your own?
Oh, so buying it is cheaper than making your own?
Making your own is cheap.
Oh, then give me both prices.
Okay, if you were to make your own, you're probably looking at $300.
What?
Yeah, that's all.
Why haven't we chipped into the Lisa Fisher Said podcast technical messaging that we have with each other and do this? I didn't know that.
And if you buy it, the smaller snow machine, if you buy it, it's about $500 to $600.
Oh, I thought you were going to say thousands. Did you guys think it was going to be?
You can buy snow machines. He makes them that run $4,000 or $5,000. You can buy them.
Okay,
they're huge snow machines.
I was even thinking more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want one.
You could go all out.
Yeah, I don't want one.
You could have a ski slope back here.
Well, I just about did. So this is what we all learn when we have winter weather, because we have a bridge over here. It's bridges and overpasses.
Sure.
Well, because the way my house is positioned on this mountain, you have a little overpass getting to your car out there. And winter weather, I mean, you are slipping and sliding, same thing. And so we say, if Todd Yakoubian's warning about bridges and overpasses, we mean our overpass here in front of our house.
That's right, because the air gets underneath there and it cools it faster.
So what is the thing then about the winter weather that wooed you? Is it's sensational, it's unpredictable, it's beautiful because it can be devastating.
It can be. Oh, it is devastating. It can be. And that's the thing you always got to keep in mind is that it affects people adversely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing to keep in mind. What is it about the snow? My poetic part of it.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
I like
right.
about it.
Yeah.
You want to hear my poetic
Yes.
answer to this?
Yes.
Okay. A single snowflake, I remember I said this to my high school guidance counselor. I'm not kidding you. I said, a snowflake is so quiet, but it can change the way everything looks.
That is a beautiful metaphor.
You like that?
I love
I remember
that.
telling my high school guidance that.
That is beautiful. Okay, what else you got?
All right. Other than that, it's just fun to play in.
Mhm.
I mean, who doesn't like to go sledding?
Did you live on a hill in Little Rock?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
West
yeah.
Little
We
Rock.
had several hills that neighbor kids.
But now that
Pool
you're in
Boy and I sled together too.
is that right?
Oh, yeah. We grew up together.
Yeah, I knew you did. This is
Yeah.
our friend who's on the radio here, Adam Dunaway. Because downtown's flat, kind of, and then as you come out,
Yes.
it gets hillier
Once
as
you get
come
to
out
West
this
Little
way. But now that you're a parent, doesn't your tummy get a little tight when
Yes.
the boys are out there? Because there have been catastrophic accidents
Yes.
that I know of in 1994. A family was affected. One of the Thomas boys who went to
Yep.
Catholic High, and it was a dad. It was
Yes.
the dad playing in the snow or on the ice. And I can't even remember the details, but a friend's son in that one in February coming down the hill, feet, and he's 12 and he has an MCL, ACL tear, and he can't play whatever sport this year.
And that's, the adverse effects of it. And, what do you say? You want to have fun. And as a parent, I'm supervising and I'm like, be careful, watch out for cars. Make sure you don't go head first,
I know.
and I'm the parent now. And when I was a kid, I'm like, God, I was stupid.
I know.
I remember sledding down Reservoir. How stupid
My
was that?
husband has told me those stories. I go, don't tell me that again. I mean,
Yeah. I was so stupid.
because they would block it off.
Reservoir was always one of the first
Yeah,
to close. They
that's
closed
right.
Reservoir, and that was one of the hills we would all walk over
I
to
know.
and sled down it. I'm thinking, you have no margin of room for error. You could die. And and my parents, we were out doing that. They didn't know.
Brain injury. I mean, again, it's the mother in me. I'm like head injuries.
Yeah.
All these, spinal cord injuries.
Sure.
My kids are like, Mom, let's just have some fun. I go,
I
it's
know.
just the way we are as parents. So I was wondering if the tide has changed for you and you're thinking, no, that's a really dangerous sport.
Yeah, it is. It has not. I mean, I knew it was dangerous then, but as a kid, you don't. You put it. It'll never happen to me. And as a parent, you're like, oh, it could happen to them. Yeah.
Okay, when I first met you guys, it was about in 2008, because I think I did a cooking class at someone's house. I think your wife came too. And I don't remember. Maybe it didn't take. I don't know. And maybe it wasn't cooking.
She's listening or watching now.
And I can't remember. She's going.
She's a fantastic cook.
Okay, good. But I remember us being together, and I remember her. So I think she said you all met at the TV station in Chattanooga.
Yes, we did.
Okay, and she's from Tennessee.
She's from Dover, Tennessee.
And where is that?
That's a land between the lakes, northwest of Nashville.
Oh, that's a really beautiful part of the world.
It is beautiful. But she was working at a TV station in Chattanooga, the one that I worked at for 6 years. And I got a tour of the TV station when I first got there. And they took me into a production office, and there she was.
You were like, Hottie, I got you.
Well, I thought, who's the hot blonde?
Mm-hmm.
And
cute.
anyway, so it was probably about 7 or 8 months after that we started dating.
Is that
She
right?
finally said yes.
So what year did you get married?
Thank you, Lisa, for putting me on the spot.
So you should know that.
2003.
Okay. When did you come back to Arkansas?
August of 05.
Okay. So you all were married by the time you got back here.
Mhm. And we got married here too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
We got
And
married.
then you had the two boys.
Blake and Preston. Mhm.
Yeah.
Blake was born July of 09.
Yeah.
And then Preston was the New Year's baby of
Yes.
2012.
That's right.
Yep.
That's when you got your name in the paper.
Yes.
And
one of the,
for that, you can get your name in the paper for a lot of things.
you remember how TV stations would always cover the New Year's
Yes.
baby? So we're in the hospital. Channel 7 covers it. There's another TV station that came to cover it. They saw it was me, and then they turned around and left.
Yeah, they're like, I gotta go.
No, we can't do that.
Never mind, this isn't going to work. Well, my weather connection is, remember Vic Shedler? For those of you, we're going way back now.
His son works at Channel 7, by the way.
No way.
Yes.
No way. Well, one time, so I worked with him at because I worked at Channel 7 when I got out of college, and then I worked at Channel 4.
Mhm.
And I was doing this hard-hitting news segment called Dialing for Dollars.
I watched.
And,
She never called me.
Well, you didn't know it was me. You didn't make a connection, I think, when we met. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, isn't that funny? And then we called Vic Shedler one time on Dialing for Dollars. I remember that was the one thing. I said, hey, and I may have been, because I was single, I was Lisa Gibson for a while, and then Lisa Fisher. Or maybe I said, hey, it's Lisa Fisher, Dialing for Dollars. And he goes, Lisa, it's Vic. And I go, Vic Shedler? You'd have to know Vic Shedler to know. It was very comical.
And this was on the air.
This was on the air, yeah. And then another time, well, this isn't about me. One time someone played a joke on me. It was April Fool's, and they made my phone ring, because usually the person who did Dialing for Dollars on Channel 4 was the weather person.
Right.
Tom Bonner, whoever else, right? I was the first
Barry
person.
Brandt?
Yeah, right. Whoever, yeah. It was like the short stick that they drew. Everyone hated it. And so one time then they had me. So I was doing Dialing for Dollars because I love numbers. I mean, I guess I didn't want to be a weather person. And so the phone rang when I was there, and I went, hello? I was on the air. It was Todd Tongan.
Oh, he passed away not long ago.
Yes.
He was
a
brilliant guy.
Funniest, and a meteorologist, one of the funniest people I've ever met. He
Yep.
goes, Lisa, Steve Martone from Channel 11.
He got you good.
And I was sitting there looking at him. That's when Steve had invested in a hairpiece.
Okay.
And I go,
this I didn't know.
Right. I go, nice rug. And I didn't know it was being broadcast to the nice people at home. My snarkiness has gotten me in trouble way before I had a podcast. So.
It gets us all in trouble at some point. That's
right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Todd was a weatherman.
And very well liked.
Yes.
A
he was
wonderful
in,
personality.
Yeah, he was in Miami.
Right.
Yeah, we were really brokenhearted.
Yeah.
So, and that's the one thing people don't understand. When you work in a TV station, it's a unique situation because we're all fighting for the same dreams. We're all trying to get the best product on the air. And so
it's competitive.
Very competitive, but you get very close with the people you work with.
Yes, you do.
Because sometimes it's a skeleton staff if you do the morning show, even the later shows, because there are people come in from 8 to 5, right?
Sure.
Accounting, sales. Mm-hmm. Well, the engineers are there all the time. So there are more people bustling. But when you work those early morning shifts or Saturday daybreak, you get to know your people really well.
It's like a family. It is.
Yeah. Don't you feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the people who I work with, they are like family. I mean, it's like Barry's like, I wouldn't say my dad. Maybe.
Right. Oh, right.
Big brother, maybe.
Right.
Right. It's kind of like that. We're all like a family and everything.
Yeah. I remember one time Renee Shapiro was very witty. She was with you on a Saturday morning. I think I was there with maybe an event or something. And because I know the story so well, I don't know it's because she told me, but she said, you all were talking about restaurants in town. And she said, well, she looked over and said, you ought to make dinner reservations. Like, yes, they said at cash. They said, because JoJo's there. You're like over there on the weather thing going, who's JoJo? And she goes, Todd, have you been on this planet long? Like, JoJo is so beloved wait staff in town. I mean, people love her. She wears the crazy shoes.
Okay.
Remember that?
Now I remember that conversation.
And she just stopped and went, how can you be in the 501 and not know JoJo?
I do now.
Right.
But yeah, and Renee too. I miss working with her on Saturday daybreak. She's like family. And we talk too.
Is she not there anymore? I don't know.
Yes, she is. She's still at Channel 7.
But you don't see her on Saturday mornings?
No, I'm sleeping.
Oh, you're not. That's right. You're not there.
Saturday mornings, I'm sleeping in now. I catch it every now and then. But we talk and text all the time.
So you worked the 5-day shift that a lot of us who worked weekends do. Did you have Monday and Tuesday off?
No, I had Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off.
Well, how did you finagle that, Mr. Snowmaker?
I don't know. And I hope James Bryan isn't watching this.
Right.
Because I worked a double shift on Saturday daybreak, and the evenings, I was able to get an extra day.
Wasn't that nice?
It was very nice. So then I went to 5 days a week. I was like, what is this 5 days a week thing?
I'm so sorry. You have to put in a 40-hour week.
I know. It's just tough. No, it's not.
But
when you love it, it's not a job.
That's right. That's right.
So.
And you have the best shift that anyone can get.
It's the dream shift. I love it.
And like one person at each TV station it's been bestowed upon because you work like 9 to 5 hours or 8 to 5 hours.
I get to work around 9:30, 9:45. And then I go to lunch and I come back and do the 3 and the 5 and I'm done by 5:30. It's fantastic.
So what happens if severe weather comes? Do you stay later?
Oh, yeah. Well, we adjust. If it's early, I'll come in early. If it's late, I'll go in late. We have a completely shifting of the schedules and moving people around. So, yeah. And there are times when I'm working at the station 12, 14 hours a day in severe weather.
Yeah.
And and winter weather, too.
Yeah.
Winter weather, think about February 2021 when we had the historic cold and the historic snow.
Wasn't that crazy?
I was working 12 to 14 hours a day for a whole week.
Well, because you didn't go home, did you?
Oh, I did go home, but it was just from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, you're working.
Now, when I was in TV, they got us rooms downtown. Do they still do that?
Yes, they still do.
They would have to.
Never done it though. I've never stayed at a hotel.
Oh, really?
Did you do that?
No, I got picked up. Yes,
Okay.
and my husband, I remember, would come. We would get me there and stuff because I think I was married then, but I remember thinking the single kids, they're just over there, getting the little bottles of hooch and drinking, and then they're going to the TV station.
That's what I hear. May not happen.
Right.
I've heard stories.
Right.
Funny story, when I lived up in Montana, I started my TV career in Montana.
Oh, in Missoula?
In Missoula, Montana.
That's where Todd Yakoubian started, I think.
Did he really?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
I know that connect. That's how I know the town.
I wanted someplace, imagine this, I wanted someplace snowy to start my career.
Yeah.
So they ended up opening in Missoula, Montana. But anyway, I'll tell you a quick story. There was a lot of snow. Mm-hmm. I did mornings. My first 9 months there, I did mornings.
So that means you got up yesterday, like at 2 a.m.?
No, because the morning news started at 6:30. I know. Isn't that great?
That's more okay. That was at one time.
Yeah. And so that was way back in the late 90s. Anyway, I'm a Southern boy. I'm from Arkansas. And we had a foot of snow. I couldn't drive in it.
You called and said, I can't come to work.
They picked me up in a snowmobile.
Stop it.
I got to work in a snowmobile.
Were they making fun of you at all? Or were they lovingly?
They would never do that in front of my face.
Right. Because the rest of them were going, why don't you have chains on your tires? And
I got them.
Okay, so there was this shift one time in communicating that they would say, well, you need chains on your tires and you need so-and-so. And I remember one time I was at B98, my co said, and you might need kitty litter in case you get stranded.
Sure.
Well, what is kitty litter for, people?
You thought, no.
In case you got stranded, you needed a place to go. You got it right there in the kitty litter.
And you got to have the kitty litter to put on the snow.
Thank you. That's what I thought. I'm a very literal person. If you tell me you need kitty litter, I'm going, all in case you litter. Got it. So
I'm going to get fired if I say something.
No, don't.
Okay, I'm just going to be quiet.
I love that about you, that you have, I never had that. I never had that gift that told me to keep my mouth shut. Yeah.
The images, but no.
I know, right.
Stop, go.
Yeah.
Next question.
I'm very visual. So how many years were you in Missoula?
2.5 years. Let's see.
Were they long, 2.5 long years?
I loved it.
You did?
I absolutely loved it. But you're working in a small market TV station. You're broke.
Yeah.
Your roommate is the meteorologist from the other TV station in town.
It's awful.
But it's fun. It was one of the greatest times, though, because you didn't have any real responsibility.
It is.
You're poor, but you're all poor together.
Right.
And it was
we ate ramen noodles.
Yeah.
There used to be, when I worked at Channel 7, there was a Wendy's on Broadway in North Little Rock that actually had, remember Wendy's had a salad bar?
Yes.
And that's all we could afford was a salad bar and chili. So the photogs and everybody, we'd take our lunch break, which in TV, lunch break means 6 p.m., after the 6 o'clock news, right? So we'd take our lunch break at 6:30 and we'd go to salad and chili because that's all we could afford.
Oh, yeah, I know. And there was, after the 10 o'clock news, we would go over to a pub across the street, which is really dangerous to have a pub across the street from a TV station. I know. And they had free popcorn. And so, of course, there's the TV people who get the free popcorn and drinks. They ended up renaming the Long Island iced tea after me. It was the Doppler 8000.
Stop it.
So that was every night.
Stop
Doppler 8000.
Okay, well, let's talk about how technology then has changed in the last 20-something years that you've been doing this.
Oh, my gosh.
So we started with Doppler.
We still have it, yeah.
But is there something more advanced than that, more detailed, more technical?
Not that we're using now, but we will be using some more technology, better technology called phased array radar. But, when I started in this business, in Missoula, and it was like, I know Missoula's a small market, but it was like this everywhere. We had one computer in the entire station that had the internet. One computer.
Did you get in line and
I don't know how we did it.
Like the payphone at the sorority door or the door?
I mean, it grew rapidly after I got in the business. Everybody, I got internet in my office,
Of course, it was dial-up too.
Yeah, but we had to use the AP wire to get our forecast.
Yeah, right.
We didn't have but one computer on the internet, and I was like, computer models here. I don't have to,
Yeah.
So it has exploded, and now you get it on your phone. It's just amazing. Now there's too much information in my opinion. There's too much.
Okay, so also then the shift of communication. There was a time that at 9:50, let's say, you'd break into Modern Family, whatever's on at 9:30 or 10. You'd say, "Hey, coming up in 15 minutes, I'm going to give you the forecast," and you were gripped. You were waiting with bated breath. Well, now if you told me that, I go, well, I'll check my phone. So what are you doing then? Because you do have unique skill set. I will say that. But what are you doing then to get viewers to stick around at 10 or to come back at 4 in the morning?
When you can figure it out, let me know.
I know.
It's a tough question. It's one that we're constantly trying to figure out. You've got to be able to give the information that your phone will not give. Yeah, and you got to be able to tease that information.
So that's the way you think of it. That's good.
A phone can give you anything, current conditions, forecast,
right.
but I got to give you something extra, something you're not going to get on the phone.
Okay.
And so that's the challenge. So you really got to think about the forecast and what is going to be useful information people need to know that they can't get on the phone.
Then does that translate into, because you have a huge social media presence on Twitter? I mean, you're the Beyonce. I mean, you have a million followers, whatever it is. I mean, you probably more than anybody. Because remember, there was a time you all incentivized it that if you got to so many, like you got to 100,000, I can't even remember what it was, Facebook fans or maybe Twitter followers, you were going to, I don't know. Do you not remember that? There was like some incentive or people were saying, let's help Todd.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, that was like maybe because we started using Twitter when in 2009.
It was 2009, March 2009 that I joined. So, gosh, March of 2009. So here we are.
Yeah, right.
13 years later.
Right. Isn't that great? That was the other day.
I know. It feels just like yesterday. I was like, this Twitter thing isn't going to go anywhere.
I know.
But yeah, I don't remember that, but I do remember.
Yeah, we did. I remember because I remember on the radio, we kind of talked about it. So let's help Todd. Like we wanted to help.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome.
It was the GoFundMe of, Twitter followers. Let's help Todd.
Yeah. And then the Facebook thing, I told him, I'm never doing Facebook. I'm never going to do it. He goes, you're going to have to do Facebook. I said, no. And then I started doing it. And of course, I like it now. And it's a great way to communicate information.
I know, but it's a lot of. So how many social channels do you have too?
I'm also on Instagram, but I don't do much Instagram.
Okay. Do you do the Snapchat?
No.
Do you do the TikTok?
No.
Not yet? No. Oh, I know. Quit pointing at me.
You're doing the TikTok?
Well, my team helps me with the TikTok because it is one more thing and it communicates a little differently. Don't you agree? So you and I are used to doing real time, just telling you what's going on. Kind of the beauty of TikTok is to have several videos that are pieced together. But see, that takes effort. My gifting and yours is too is just going live. Well, we're going live and then going live again and then going live again. And
I've heard it's incredibly addictive.
I don't think so. I don't know. I get bored. I mean, of course, I'm down to one Wordle puzzle a day because thankfully that's all they're giving us.
Wordle.
Do you think it's addictive? Do all of it?
It is. And I've been told if you can, don't do it. That's what I've been told.
Right. So, it's telling the addict that non-alcoholic beer could be a gateway.
Listen, I've got 2 kids. I've got, a full-time job, Twitter, Facebook, the Arkansas Weather blog. Yeah. I can't do TikTok.
Oh, you still do your Arkansas Weather blog?
I still do the blog.
Because remember, that's kind of old school.
It is.
But it's still about it, technology.
When there's weather going on, I'll get 20, 30,000 hits on it.
Are you serious?
Sure. Yeah.
That is
so there's still a lot of people. When there's big weather going on, I'll go to the blog and put more information there. That's the thing. You got to produce, you know what it is. You got to produce that content. You got to be the content creator.
Yes. And again, a unique skill set you have is you have the ability to do that. There are a lot of people who are talent. That's what we call people on radio and TV. We use the term loosely sometimes.
Yes, we do.
But they don't have the euphoria. You are good at generating ideas. And not everyone has. I'm not saying it was sunshine up your skirt. If you didn't have it, I wouldn't say it. I'd say nice tie and we'd move on. But you happen to have that. And I tell our friend Pool Boy that a lot too.
Yes.
How much time do we have? Okay, we're at 44 minutes. Okay. They keep me.
We've gone 44 minutes. Mm-hmm. Time flies.
I know.
I'm having fun.
So any questions coming in on Facebook, Darren's going to check. But I'm going to tell you some of the questions that came in via the Twitter.
The Twitters?
And via Chris Kane on Instagram.
Oh, no.
So one was a tweet by Scott K. Christian. How do you find the time when on air and covering how the weather, and I'm paraphrasing, how the weather changes? Because you're on the air, you're saying this is the gospel, and anything can change within a few minutes.
You're talking about with severe weather?
Yes, severe. Yes, he's talking about with severe weather or winter weather.
Okay. I sit there or stand there with that laptop in front of the chroma key wall. On that laptop, I can move around the radar behind me. I'm able to do that. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm monitoring pictures coming in. I'm in the chat room with the National Weather Service. So I have all these different things open at the same time. And if you hear me going, that's why, because I'm checking all these things and it's information being thrown at you and you have to be able to sort that out to what's relevant, what's most important and get that to the viewer. But it's not, if I have typos on Twitter and Facebook, that's why at that time.
I have forgiven you.
All right.
So back when I was there, it was the director that would tell the weather person their IFB, which is your earpiece, if things changed. Because that was our technique. Oh, they do?
They're still giving me information in the ear, but they get.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
Do you take Adderall?
A lot of this.
Okay, good. Yeah, coffee. We made him some fancy coffee. He said, his other question was, how did broadcasting from your home during early COVID affect you and the kids?
At first, it was fun.
Yeah, it was
I
novel.
loved it. I thought this is the coolest thing that I can do this all from home and not, I'm saving all this gas money. It's so cool. And then it's like, I kind of miss going to work.
Sure. Camaraderie, humans.
Yes. And family too. It's like, it goes back to the people you work with.
That's right.
And so it was fun at first, but I really was glad to get back.
Yeah.
Really was glad.
How long were you all at home? That was like March
It was a year and a half, maybe.
It was that long?
Maybe so. A year and a half.
Sorry.
And it got to the point where it's like, and my wife, she's like, you got to get out of here.
Right. We need you to.
Yeah, you got to. I was like, I'm leaving.
Tweet from Shane Broadway. What memorable things happened on the slope/trip to Montana? Got a few of those
That
questions.
was from Shane?
Yes, it was also, I think we also got maybe.
From Chris Kane?
Chris Kane, yeah. Is it something you want to share?
How much time do we have?
We have all the time for Todd Yakoubian.
All right. I love skiing. Okay. I mean, that's something I learned. I absolutely love it. So we went, it was in January. Mm-hmm. I can't believe I'm telling this story. Because I pride myself on being a good skier.
Oh.
Okay.
So you also thought you'd get the groceries at the Colony West Kroger and things didn't work out so well for that.
Things didn't quite work out so well. I got, first day of skiing, Big Mountain in Whitefish is what it's called.
Yeah.
It was fogged in at the top. All right. But I wanted to get to the top. I wanted to ski down the mountain instead of the smaller slopes towards the bottom. So I thought, I could do this.
Right.
It's foggy up there. I've been up there before in the fog. I'll go. And so the kids stayed down low with my wife. And I was like, I'm going to the top. Well, I started getting to the top and I couldn't see the chair in front of me. It was so foggy.
Wow.
There was no visibility.
How is there fog? Explain that phenomenon. I thought fog happened when there's dew point and humidity.
Right. It's 100% saturation. So you go up and the lift of the mountain, there's a cloud hovering over the mountain.
Yeah, that's true. You do see it around the mountains. But I would think by the time you were there, you could see the chair in front of you, I guess.
No.
Okay.
So I get up there and you can't see anything. And the fog is the same color as the snow.
Yeah.
And so it's disorienting and you get vertigo and you get disoriented.
Really?
You get disoriented. You don't know which way is up, down, and you don't know where the slope is. You don't know where the cliffs are. You don't know where the trees are.
That's what happens to pilots sometimes, they say, in real severe weather. Now I get that.
And this was the worst fog I've ever been in. I go skiing up that mountain all the time in the fog. This was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this. I've got to get out of the fog. So I got to go down a couple 100 feet elevation. So I asked a guy that's next to me, I said, what's the easiest way out of the fog? He goes, stay on the right side. That's by the tree line. He goes, and take a slope called Momentum down. And I said, okay, I've skied Momentum. I know where to go. I said, thanks. So I skied and I took a wrong turn.
Of course there's no way to know.
And I sunk down into about 5 feet of powder, got stuck in the trees. And I was kind of pushing my way out. And then I could see there was a cliff.
Oh.
And I thought, I better stay here.
Did you phone on you?
I heard people on the slope off in the distance. So I sat there for 10 minutes. I go, help.
No, really?
So ski patrol comes to me.
Okay, good.
And finally said, we heard somebody needs some help. And they found me. They go, Marco. And I was like, hello?
What else did you think was the answer?
I thought, that's how they find people? So the guy skis up and makes some tracks, and I turn my skis and get into his tracks, and I get out. Okay. And by this time, I'm nauseous. I'm sick because I'm disoriented.
Really?
And
it comes on that quickly?
It comes on that quickly. I got out of the clouds, and I called it a day. That was done.
So you didn't have your phone on you?
I did. I didn't call 911.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
I did have my phone.
Where? Well,
I was a little embarrassed. Now I told the whole world the story.
No, I actually don't. I feel empathy for you and wonder what I would do. See, your pride's gotten in the way because you're like, I'm a good skier. But as you know, weather conditions are so unpredictable. That's what, and I think of John F. Kennedy Jr. when he flew that plane.
Sure, right.
And he got disoriented. And people were like, how could that happen?
It happens. It's so easy.
It happens.
And when you get into that situation, it's too late. When you're in it, you're like, you can't go back. You're in it and you can't get out.
No.
So that I went back the next day to see what I did wrong. And I saw the cliff. And I was like, if I had fallen off that cliff, nobody would have found me.
No.
So anyway, I'm glad.
Well, I'm glad you lived. Goodness.
Yeah, you and me both.
Okay, Jason Peterson, former co-worker, very witty man. He writes now for AY Magazine. I have him doing a column there every month. He's great. He said his tweet is product something about hair product. Is that an inside joke?
Well, they always joke around about how much hair product I use.
And look at your hair turning silver. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, I remember seeing your mama on some of the promos.
Did my blog promo. Yes.
Wasn't that sweet?
Yes.
So sweet. Now, is your father still alive?
No, he passed away in 2002. So
and you were not living here at the time. So
right, I was living in Chattanooga at the time.
That's not too cool.
And so my mom's still here in Little Rock.
Okay.
In fact, she lives a couple miles away from here.
Is that right?
So but she's proud of her boy.
I know she is.
Yeah.
I'm sure she is. Chris Kane, who works with him at Channel 7, said, "What about being live on the air when an electrical fire started in the studio?"
Okay. It was a weekend and they had a light that was out. So they plugged in a temporary light and it was high voltage or something. And they plugged it in and I'm doing the weather. It was right next to the weather center. And apparently it started sparking and blowing up and sending out puffs of smoke. And the fire started coming out of it. And the fire went up the wall just about 6 feet away from where I was. And then sparks started flying at me. So I stepped out of the chroma key wall and went back to the desk. And our camera operator at the time went and got a fire extinguisher. You could hear in the video the fire extinguisher. And the Sully's at the desk goes, "How about that? There's a fire. He's doing the weather. Gosh, my man." Sully.
Right.
He was kind of in disbelief over the whole thing.
That is so funny. Yeah. You've wondered sometimes I wonder how things, because technical things happen in your own home, but being on the air is a little different.
Yes.
Because you don't know where the sound's coming from. I've been in a studio before where we heard something fall or crash or break. You don't know to stop. You don't know where you are. What do you do? The show
Keep
must
going.
go on.
Yep.
That's right. He said, "What about the time they tried to take down the Broadway Bridge with zero help to Chris?" What is that about?
Zero help. That's an exaggeration.
That was actually on the tweet.
Remember the Main Street
that was
Bridge?
on Instagram. Yes.
And they blew it up and it didn't go down.
Yes.
I was laughing the whole time because we were both covering it on the air, both of us.
Yes.
And I was laughing the whole time. And Chris is just going on, our news directors in our ear saying, "Just keep going. It could fall at any moment. Just keep going."
We're still waiting.
And I'm just cracking up the whole time. And somebody started a Twitter account called the Main Street Bridge or something. And during that time, and I'm reading the tweets from it on the air, just cracking up.
That was good.
And so then we finally gave up. It wasn't going down. And then we joined Jeopardy in progress. One of the categories was Bridge to Nowhere.
Stop it.
I'm not kidding you. Bridge to Nowhere.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about then the next few years. What do you think of technology? Where do you think it's going? What do you think it will tell us? What are they telling you? Our devices, like you said, I like what your point of, but you give information that the phone doesn't give.
That's right.
But so what's this new technology you were kind of leaning toward?
Everything's going, of course, towards the apps, more apps.
So satellites have been helping us for years, but now they help. I mean, every time we go, they help us more than ever. Well, in a year we'll be saying, and they're helping us more than ever. What do you need to be more precise? Talk to God, because he's the only person that knows what's going to happen.
A better relationship.
Right.
What do I need to be more precise? Better modeling, which there's more, there's better modeling all the time. What do I need? I need more radars in Arkansas.
Okay.
The government just set up a brand new satellite, which is great, but they need to spend money and make the investment in more radars in Arkansas.
So when you run for governor, that's your platform.
Yes. Well, it's the federal dollar is going to come in. Southeast Arkansas is not adequately covered by radar. Neither is Northeastern Arkansas. But it's
flat. Southeast Arkansas is flat. So what's happening in Dumas is happening in Dermont.
Well, yes, true. But when you have a tornado, those happen towards the ground. And so we can't detect those things in those rural areas.
Oh, really?
And so if there is anything I want better radar coverage in Arkansas. That would help out a lot. Phased array radar, which is basically going to be radar in real time. It's going to be better than live radar. I mean, it's all going to be real time of the whole atmosphere. And that's the next radar that we're going to be upgrading to, hopefully within my lifetime. I don't know if it'll ever happen. Phased array radar is something I really want. And there's going to be, I think tornado warnings are going to get better and better in time, to the point where, and I hope this happens in my career, we're going to be able to warn communities and towns not 10 minutes ahead of a storm, but maybe an hour or 2 hours.
Though? It would be so predictive then?
It'd be so high-powered models with radar data, being able to crank out all those mathematical equations and to do it accurately. I think we will eventually get to the point where we can evacuate towns prior to a large tornado.
So will we ever stop, though, sitting there wondering when you go through those small towns, so go over here and Roosterpoot and suck your toe. Anytime you all have to go through, because it'll come up, communities will come up, and it'll be names that you're going, that's politically incorrect. No, you can't say that. But it's the name of that community. And
Right.
because it's communities that come up. So that's.
We've gone through our database and gotten rid of some of the towns that are.
I remember about 10 years ago or some.
Yeah.
So that some, and I can't remember if it was you or who, whether people were going, I didn't know, but
There's a database in there with thousands upon thousands. And so you constantly go through there and scour because there are things that will pop up you have no control over. So you go through and delete them. But yes, there are towns.
Yeah.
You know,
you could never say in mixed company. Some of them.
That's exactly right.
How much time left? Okay, we're about to wrap things up. But what do you think about hurricanes? Love them or hate them or indifferent? Hate them.
I used to like following hurricanes. Now I don't like it. I'm all about the winter weather.
Okay, winter weather.
That's it.
Please no more of it for 2022.
I can't promise that. Well, and then of course you got the end of the year too, 2022. If you want to talk about December, late in the year.
Wait, what? What do we have?
You said 2022.
Oh, I did. Well,
Okay,
that's
sorry.
true. I meant this season.
I think we have one more. We'll get to Little Rock. Northern Arkansas, I still think is going to have snow and ice.
Have you seen something that's already kind of going?
Yeah, towards the end of next week.
Oh,
maybe.
No, I'm having a big party in 2 weeks.
I didn't say it was going to happen here.
Good.
Could be North Arkansas.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Follow him on the Twitter. He's not great checking his Instagram, so forget that.
Don't do that.
Get on his Facebook fan page. He is the most beloved. It is Todd Yakoubian.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Lisa Fisher Said podcast. Be sure to hit subscribe and download all the episodes and leave a review, won't you? The Lisa Fisher Said podcast is produced by ClantonCreative.com.